My sister Jessica recently went through a messy divorce. She has 2 kids, ages 8 and 10, and moved back in with our parents temporarily. Our childhood home is small, so it's cramped with all of them there. I should mention, Jessica and I used to be close when we were younger. She was my best friend growing up, but somewhere along the way, things changed. Last week at family dinner, Jessica announced she and the kids would be moving into my house, not asking, announcing. I was confused and said, "What do you mean?" She said since I'm single with no kids, I don't need all that space, and she deserves it more as a struggling single mom. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. Jessica said I should move back in with our parents and let her have the house since family helps family. Our mom immediately jumped in saying Jessica's kids need stability and I'm being selfish. Our dad stayed quiet. I said absolutely not. It's my house that I worked for. Jessica could stay with our parents or find her own apartment. She broke down crying, calling me heartless. She said her ex got everything in the divorce and I'm rubbing my success in her face. Now my entire family is blowing up my phone. My aunt called me a disgrace. My mom says I'm tearing the family apart. Even some cousins are messaging me saying I should at least let her rent it from me at a massive discount. The thing is, Jessica has always been treated differently. Growing up, she was the golden child. She got a new car at 16 while I drove our grandmother's old sedan. Our parents paid for her entire wedding, $30,000, while telling me they couldn't help with my education. I worked 2 jobs through college while she got an allowance. She's never had to fight for anything. When she told me 6 months ago that she was having problems in her marriage, I tried to be supportive. I invited her over for sister talks, let her vent about her husband. I had no idea she was already seeing someone else behind his back. The affair came out during the divorce proceedings. Her husband found text messages. I felt sick when I found out because I'd been giving her advice on how to fix her marriage while she was actively cheating. She never told me the truth. She's not some victim of circumstance, she made choices that led here, and now she expects me to bail her out. But now my whole family is making me feel like a monster. My mom hasn't spoken to me in 3 days. Am I really the bad guy for not giving up my house? So things escalated quickly. Jessica showed up at my house yesterday with our mom and a U-Haul. Yes, seriously. She said she'd given me enough time to think about it and they were moving in. I didn't let them in. I told them through the doorbell camera that they needed to leave or I'd call the police. My mom started yelling that I'm destroying my niece's lives and that she didn't raise me to be this cruel. Jessica was sobbing on my porch saying she had nowhere else to go, again, she's living with our parents. She tried the doorknob. I called the police non-emergency line. An officer showed up and explained that it's my property and they needed to leave. My mom argued with him, saying family matters should stay in the family. He was professional but firm. They eventually left. My phone has been nuclear since then. I've gotten texts from relatives I haven't spoken to in years telling me I'm a horrible person. Someone created a Facebook post about me, without naming me directly, but everyone knows, about entitled millennials who forget where they came from. The wildest part? My dad finally called me privately. He apologized for not speaking up at dinner. He said Mom has always favored Jessica and he's ashamed he didn't protect me from that growing up. He told me not to give in, that Jessica needs to learn to stand on her own feet. He's apparently sleeping in the guest room because he refused to come with them to my house yesterday. I'm standing firm, but I won't lie, this hurts. Part of me misses the sister I used to have, the one who would stay up late with me watching movies and sharing secrets. I keep wondering if I'm being too harsh. But then I remember this is the house I sacrificed for. I ate ramen for years. I skipped vacations. I worked overtime constantly. I missed family events because I was working double shifts to save for the down payment. Why should I give that up for someone who's never had to sacrifice anything? Okay, so this situation has reached peak absurdity. Jessica tried to forge documents claiming I'd agreed to gift her the house. She apparently consulted with a lawyer who, obviously, told her that wouldn't work, but she tried to file something anyway. It was immediately rejected. When that failed, she started a GoFundMe titled "Single Mom Abandoned by Sister Needs Help" with a sob story about how I kicked her out of our family home. She raised about $200 before someone who knows the real story commented with the truth, and GoFundMe shut it down for misrepresentation. My mom doubled down, telling extended family that I'm mentally unstable and making up lies about Jessica. Several relatives reached out to me privately saying they didn't believe her version anymore. One cousin told me Mom's been saying I'm jealous of Jessica's kids and that's why I won't help. The turning point came when my dad had enough. He told my mom he was done enabling Jessica's behavior and that if she continued this crusade against me, he'd separate their finances. My mom apparently went silent. Money talks. Jessica sent me a long text yesterday. No apology, but she said she'd accept me renting her the house for $500 a month. My mortgage is $2,400 a month, not including maintenance. When I didn't respond, she sent another message saying I'd regret burning this bridge and that one day I'll need family and no one will be there. I've blocked her number. I've blocked my mom. I've set boundaries with other family members. They can have a relationship with me if they stop bringing this up, or they cannot have one at all. My dad came over for coffee this morning. We had the best conversation we've had in years. Turns out he's been unhappy for a long time with how Mom treats me versus Jessica. He said he's proud of me for standing up for myself. So that's where things stand. I'm keeping my house. My family is fractured, but honestly, I'm realizing the people who truly love me would never have asked me to give up something I worked so hard for. But wait, there's more, and you all need to sit down for this because I'm still in shock. Yesterday, my grandmother, my dad's mom, called me. She's 92 and doesn't use technology much, so she had no idea about any of this drama until my dad told her everything last week. She asked me to come visit her, said it was urgent. When I got there, she sat me down and pulled out a folder of documents. She told me something that made my jaw hit the floor. Apparently, my parents don't own their house. My grandmother does. She bought it 40 years ago and let my parents live there rent-free, always intending to leave it to my dad in her will. My dad knew about this arrangement, but my mom apparently either forgot over the years or never fully understood that it wasn't actually theirs. But here's the kicker. My grandmother has decided to change her will. She told me that after hearing how my mother has treated me my entire life and especially during this house situation, she's removing my mother from any inheritance and leaving the house to me and my father as joint owners. She's already contacted her lawyer and had the documents drawn up. My dad knows and supports this decision. He told her he'd rather see me get half than watch my mom give everything to Jessica the second grandmother passes. But it gets even more insane. My grandmother asked if I'd be willing to let her sell me the house right now for $1. Transferring legal ownership immediately to me and my dad. She wants my mom to find out while she's still alive to see it. She said, and I quote, "I'm 92 years old, I've earned the right to be petty, and your mother needs to learn that actions have consequences." I didn't know what to say. This house is worth at least $400,000. My grandmother explained that my parents can continue living there as long as my dad wants, but the second he decides he's had enough of my mother's behavior, or if anything happens to him, the decision about the house is mine. My mom will finally have to face reality. I agreed. We're meeting with her lawyer next week to finalize everything. I haven't told anyone yet except my dad, who apparently teared up when grandmother first told him her plan. He said it's the first time in 40 years he's felt like someone was looking out for me. My mom has no idea that the house she's been living in for 40 years isn't actually hers and never was. Jessica has no idea that her backup plan of eventually inheriting the family home when grandma passes doesn't exist. The irony is absolutely killing me. My sister demanded I give her my house, and now I'm about to own half of the house she thought she'd inherit someday. My grandmother also told me something that broke my heart. She said she's watched my mother favor Jessica for decades and stayed quiet because she didn't want to cause problems, but she deeply regrets not speaking up sooner. She said I remind her of herself when she was young, scrappy and independent, and she's not going to let my mother erase that. I don't even know how to process this. My grandmother is the most savage woman I've ever met, and I aspire to be her when I grow up. I asked her if she's sure about this, and she squeezed my hand and said she's never been more sure of anything. We'll update after the lawyer meeting. This family drama has officially become completely unhinged. To anyone dealing with entitled family members, you are not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Let me know what you think I should have done better in the comments section.